Welcome to Do the Talk podcast. This is a real estate podcast that teaches regular people how to invest in real estate. My name is Hamed Lawal, and my co-host here is Ibrahim Ojenide. We are focused in making investing in real estate seamless as much as possible for our audience. So, if you are looking to invest in real estate, this is the place to be every Friday night at 8 p.m. Keep in mind, we always say this just to make sure that all our audience remember this is not a get rich quick scheme. It requires work, consistency to make it work, but believe us, this is a proven way that everybody that has become successful today has used in the past are currently using, and it's still proving to be useful in the future. Ibrahim, it's another Friday. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling excited. And I came back about some hours ago, and um, I thought about the topic tonight. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a great topic because we literally gonna talk about how people like us, or even people that are not invest in real estate, we're gonna teach them how the ways to to manage our property. you know um First of all, guys, I want to make sure you guys are aware that this we want to make this an interactive session. So we appreciate you if you can drop your comment, concerns, and we'll try to treat it in this same show tonight. So as I was saying, Ahmed, before I diverted, so I'm so excited because we're gonna show people that, okay, even though there's property management, you can also be knowledgeable about this, and you can potentially manage your property yourself. So I believe everybody
Absolutely.
will find this useful because it's gonna be a skill that everyone can learn and put it into practice. That way, um, you know
Absolutely.
you can manage your property as well, or oversee and make sure a property manager is managing your property well. So I'm very excited for today, and I'm sure our audience can't wait to hear from us, Ahmed. So today we want to talk about property management. You know,
Yep.
what people need to know, how they can do it, um, what are the good side of it, or what are the caution they need to take. We are gonna bundle everything together and give it to our awesome audience. And I'm very excited to start. Ahmed, from your side, what are the things people need to know about property management? Please help us.
Uh, Thank you, Ibrahim. It's an awesome night, obviously. Without dragging it too much,
Hmm.
I think property management is that key component of real estate investment that can break your business or make your business go seamless. Uh, so, uh, well, how do you know if it's breaking your business, or how do you know if it is optimizing your business? That is why we are here tonight. Uh, there are all sort of property management company and property manager out there, but what they do actually is making sure that your investment is safe, secure, and you are not stressing yourself over those investments. They make it as passive as possible for an investor or a landlord. So, how do they do that? Number one thing they ensure is tenant relation. So you don't have to be dealing with tenants. Property manager, if you have a good property manager, that is their job. So I mean, property relation starts from finding the tenants, you know, qualifying them, making sure they are a good tenant, uh, ensuring they fill out all the necessary parts of the application, running their background check, making sure they can pay the rent that they are trying to, sign up for.
Mhm.
And during the time of them staying at the unit, you property manager make their stay memorable. Everybody wants we want to rent a house, and it is easy to spot a bad property management company or property manager, because if something is happening in the house and you notify them and they are not responsive enough, it doesn't I mean, it's not as if it is a rocket science. You can easily spot them. It's easy. But there are some aspects that is still hidden, which can affect the landlord. We are still going to be going into that tonight, but I want to complete this point of tenant relation. It's not only from documentation, maintenance side, but it also needs to be landlord and tenant focus, making sure the landlord is getting what they need to get on time, the report, the is incident reports, financial reports and everything, and the cash flow is going to them on time. uh, Also, you want to make sure if the tenants have any complaint about the house, or the tenants point out something or something like that, they need to be on top of it and jump on it right away, so that way the tenants will have a good experience. So that's the number one point, and that's like the most important job that people know. If when you say property management or property manager, number one thing that strike everybody, just because we've had one or two experience of a good one or a bad one, and it comes from tenant relation. So, but property manager do more than that. Another thing they do is focus on maintenance, making sure everything that got broken in the house get fixed right away, at least in a timely manner. I mean, I'm not expecting a property manager to put their pints on while they are sleeping at 1 a.m. and come and be fixing your toilet just because that is when you come in and try to use the toilet and that is when you get broken. Even if they come to the house at that time, the technician that will fix it might not be available at the time, right? So that doesn't constitute a bad property management. It's just that the incident happened at the wrong time, and you have to wait till a certain time before that thing can be attended to. So really, getting on maintenance at an appropriate time in a timely manner is very, very key component of property management. However, even if you cannot jump on it right away, you need to keep the communication open. You are very big in Airbnb industry, short-term renting industry. Some things will happen that you won't be able to fix right away, right? So one thing you want to do is to let the tenants or the guests know this is what happened. I acknowledge it. I am working to fix it. This is my, expected time for this to be fixed. So give me some time while I sort this out, And the benefits to the landlord in this case is taking the stress of them panicking. Oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to find the contractor that will fix it? It's taking that stress off them. So instead of them feeling the stress, property manager already have system and tools in place to deal with situations like this. So
Yeah.
that make it very easy for them to tackle. So they are not facing the stress as well. So it's win-win on both sides. I think that is enough for anybody to get a manager. It's just my personal opinion. So another thing that we want to discuss that is I see as a benefit of manager or property management company is legal compliance. These are set people or an organization that are vast in what the local law states about tenants and landlording. in that state, in that locality, right? So they ensure that landlord are not ignorant of what they don't know. So they bridge that gap by making sure they are compliance. They breach that gap by making sure landlord are compliance, and that's another stress of the landlord. So you don't have to know all the tenant and landlord law in your state to be an investor or to be a landlord or to to invest in real estate. This is a solution, and who is providing that solution? The property management company. So it is very good in that regard because they keep you compliance. If you are trying to do something that is out of compliance, they can pull you back and explain why you shouldn't do it, and show you what the law says. Financial management is another big part of property management.
Yeah.
So these guys collect rent, they disburse money for repairs, so they keep all this record, and it makes it easy for landlord when they want to file their tax, when they want to, present their reports for, for any reason really, you know. It makes it easy. I know for a fact that I'm not a guy that like to keep paperwork. That's not my thing. So I rely on tools that can do it for me, which are property management software. So this is where this guy comes in. But that is because I know I don't do it. I don't do a good job at it. I use technology, but not every landlord can do this on their own. So instead of running yourself into a corner that you won't be able to back out from, it's good to let property manager or property management company take care of the finances, so that whenever you need it, you just request it from them, and they can provide it to you and give you the receipt and all that. So that's a very good one. We all want depreciation, we all want tax benefit and all that. That is one of the benefits of real estate investment. So it's really good to have a good property manager that can take care of your finances, and you can, when you require any financial reports, they can present it. A very big one is advertisement and marketing of the property, because that is where the money comes from. If the property sits vacant, there is no way the money will come in, right? So uh they make sure that they advertise the property if it is vacant, and even before it becomes vacant, few months they can go in, take pictures and post it, and make sure they started screening tenants before it becomes open, and ensure that they get a quality tenant in there. So advertisements and marketing is one of their big responsibility, and that can be an headache for a landlord if you're doing it by yourself. Panicking, stress, and having to deal with running background check for, maybe if you, let's say you have 100 applicants, running background check for 100 applicants, sitting down, looking through their credential, and determine who is who would you. So as you know, I manage some property, right? And recently I have a situation whereby I try to rent out a property to someone, and if a inexperienced landlord encounter this person, believe me, you are going to give your house to her and you won't know. So I have to run a background check, because she seems so nice and she seems so innocent and all that. But when I run the background check, it's it's a lot different story. Like the story and our personality is just day and night. And I have to be like, oh, I saw this, I saw this, I saw that. She didn't even respond to me anymore when I mentioned those things. So that tells you that this person they know what they are doing. They are just being deceiving when they are acting in front of you. but the record don't lie, right? The record don't lie. So a lot of things like that, if you are not going through experience property manager or property management company, you might miss them, and it might end up costing you a lot of money down the line, because if there's no money coming in, guess who is going to be paying that rent? The
Sure.
landlord.
Yeah.
And that is stressful enough. Landlords probably have a mortgage on their house that they are primary resident as well. And when things like this happen, then it becomes two, three, four mortgage. Imagine they have five houses, and they can't keep up, right? So what happened next? This is why we see tired landlord, that investor buy houses from, or this is why you see investor go into default and bank have to seize their house from them. So property manager can save you that headache. They can save you that hassle, and make your investment experience more seamless and more pleasant, and you can be as passive as possible. So the next one will be risk management. I already talk a little bit about risk, which is if you end up getting a bad tenant in your house, then it's going to be a long ride, because eviction doesn't happen overnight, right? It takes months. In some states it can take years. So when this process happens, guess who is going to be paying for the rent? The landlord. And US is a state whereby even if you sue them, take them to court, and finally evict them, they are not going to pay for the legal fee. You are responsible for all that too. So it can get frustrating. It can lead to people selling their property because they don't want to go through the all this also. They don't want to go through the process. So property management can reduce the risk on that. Another one is legal compliance. So property management ensure legal compliance, so that reduce the risk to the landlord. So all these things I've been mentioned is in characteristics of a good property management company. Is are good characteristics of property managers. So another one is time and stress reduction for the landlord. So with everything I've mentioned so far, you can see how property manager can save you tons of time and give you your day back, and which time those time you can invest in something else that will produce money, income generating activity. So if you don't use property manager, there's no law that says you have to use them, but these are the benefits. They can give you your time back, and they can save you some stress that you have to go through yourself, like, oh, I have to go fix this for them, I have to run up there to take care of this, I have to do this, I have to cut the grass. Property manager will take care of that if you have a good one. So the last one will be market research, really. So these guys know and out of the city. They know in and out of the city. They know where the market needs to be when it comes to rent. If you are charging below market rent, they know they can come in and increase your revenue just like this. So they have market knowledge, which can be of greater benefits to the landlord, because in return that will bring you more cash flow. They know how to tweak things around to make sure you are getting maximum money that you can get for that your unit. So just to recap quickly, they do tenant relation, repairs and maintenance, legal compliance, financial management, market and advertisement of the property, risk management. They reduce your stress and time, consumption, and they are vast, very knowledgeable in research, local markets, local rents, local compliance that you need to. So If in my opinion, I think they can be very good asset to an investor. If you find a good one, and if you find a bad one, it can be very disastrous as well. So, Ibrahim, what
Yeah.
are the things that our audience need to be aware of? Because just like we have mentioned the good aspect of property management,
Yeah.
there are a lot of stuff that can go sideways too, right? So what are the things that our audience need to be aware of when it comes to property management?
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a great question. So just like every things in life, I mean, there's always good and bad. I mean, pros and cons, if I should use that word. Um, Same way where you have good realtor, you have, not so great. The same way with property management and I mean property managers. So we want to let you, our audience, know tonight that you can manage your property. However, if you don't have time for all the things I want to explain tonight, it is better you get a property manager because they a good one, of course. Get a good property manager so that you can benefit from their services. And at the end of the day, your tenant will be happy and they will also, they'll feel your property will feel like home to them. And the goal as an investor is to have tenant that will stay in the property as long as possible so that you can leverage on that cash flow. And tenant retention is very important in an investment. So long story short, excuse me, my daughter's just to to go back. One second. She's not put it on. Okay. Sorry guys. Go. One second, man. Can you just
Okay.
continue from what
Yeah, sure. I can take care of it. So basically, having a good property manager is good, and it can, just like I mentioned earlier, it can streamline your experience when it comes to managing your property. However, if you don't know what to look for, it can be a pain, paying them, as well as Ibrahim, you are back. So let me
Yes,
just make
I'm
this
back.
point, and
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
give it back to you.
Sure.
So you need to know what to look for, and which is where Ibrahim is going to, come in right now and explain what a bad property management can look like, and how you can prevent them from happening. Ibrahim, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry guys, so I had to just take care of something real quick. Okay. So to first of all, I've mentioned that you can do it yourself. However, if you cannot handle it, because I mean we know it's gonna require some things on your side as the owner of the property, because at the end of the day you want to make sure your business, your investment is going right. Just because you give it to someone to manage it does not mean that you will not kind of oversee or be in a good observe the whole process and the management the way it's going, because your client, your tenant or tenants, depending how many you have, are more or is more important to you than just the management company. If you have a good tenant, you will benefit from that relationship and that you know the occupancy than just getting bunch of different tenants, or bad property manager and your tenant relationship can cost you more. So let me go into what you need to do. First of all, you need to make sure you do your due diligence before you get a property manager. Like I said, you're gonna have some property management that they only care about the dollars and they don't provide good management and tenant relationship. You want a property manager that can relate with the tenant in a fair and precise way. I'm not saying a property manager that doesn't take rent or anything. No, they will take the rent, they'll follow the law. However, they are flexible. They know what it means to be a tenant. They know what it means to also be a professional manager, So do your due diligence, try to see how they operate, make sure it's gonna work for you. Okay. So when I say it's gonna work for you, make sure you look for a property manager that is doing the kind of model that you are trying to do. Of course, we know real estate is large. There are different strategies, there are different models, different, way to generate cash flows. Okay. That said, you have to look for the one that is doing what you are trying to do. There are some property management that all they focus on is apartment complexes. Okay. Now, if you are trying to do midterm renting, then you cannot. I mean, if you go to them, it's like you are taking another kind of model to what they already. Their whole career is focused on apartment. So there are some things that you might miss or they might miss in that process because they are not focusing on that. That's not what they do typically. So it's like you are taking another kind of model into what they already have. Even if they don't reject that services, you as a investor or a landlord, you kind of miss it because you shouldn't go to people like that or a company like that. You should go to a manager that is doing exactly what you like to do with your investment. Okay. So look for the one that is doing what you are doing. Ask questions. Okay. Just because they are doing what you want them, the model they you want them to do or you want to do on your side, doesn't mean you have to give it to them. Now I'll give you an example. For example, you might find somebody that is managing a short-term rental for someone. However, he or she does not even have short-term or rental. They only have just and they are managing just one or two. Okay, that tells you that person, either the person is new or the person may not have that deep passion to own their own property, or that person is still, you know, he or she may be learning because you only have one or two, and that person does not have their personal one. So it means they are just on the business side. They are not feeling the ownership side because experience is the best teacher. When you have somebody that is feeling the same thing that you are about to feel or that you are currently feeling, is the way the relationship or the their character and everything is just a little different because they know what it takes. They know how it feels on the other side. So my point here is try to look for somebody, a property manager that has property. Okay, good, they have property. Okay, what are they doing with their property? Okay, are they doing short term, long term, mid term, corporate leasing? Whatever they are doing, make sure it matches what you want to do. So not just looking at, okay, because um Damola, D, one of our biggest audience, has multiple properties, give it to them to operate for them, and for him, without you checking if that person, the real person who is doing that, does he or she has their own. If that person have it, then yeah, that tells you is feeling the heat from the ownership. It's also feeling the heat from business side, just the management side. So that tells you that person will have a balanced view of the whole process, a balanced view of the business operation, because getting one experience on the ownership side is getting experience from the manager side. So that's a good one that you have to look for. Another one you have to look for is that we want you to negotiate, but at the same time, we don't want you to. It's not a good idea to sell your property cheap. Now, this is what I mean. Let's say you go to property manager A, and the person tell you, hey, you have to pay 10%. Property manager B tells you, it's okay, you can pay 6. And you tell the person, oh, what about 4? You say, oh, yeah, 4 is fine. You have to be careful. You have to be careful with 4%. Okay. The first person that told you 10%, you try to negotiate to 8. He or she insisted, I know 10 is my baseline and I know what I'm doing. Think twice. That 10% might be your best shot because 4%, it might, maybe he or she is literally telling you, okay, I'll just call it rent. That's it. If the whatever damage, my phone is turned off. If the grass is not cut, I don't know you. Maybe that's what the person is literally telling you, like, okay, it's fine. So you have to be careful not to sell your property short. Like, just don't make it cheap because you want to save money. Look for someone who is competent. As long as the 10%, you're still getting cash flow. As long as this person that is asking for 10% has credibility, has the kind of property you are, the kind of operation you are trying to get into, he or she is already feeling that operation. Okay. Does that person have personal investment that, you know, that is in the same line of what you are trying to do? If the answer is yes, my brother, my sister, go straight and sign with the guy that says 10% versus the other guy that he's just trying to collect rent and that's it, you know. And I hope he remits the money to you at the end of the month. Because the
Yep.
4% is probably thinking, okay, maybe I'll just take rent, or if, so you guys know what I'm talking about. So the point here is, try to get negotiate, try to get deal as much as you can. However, don't sell your investment too cheap that it will now pay, like you will end up pay extra unexpected expenses, like very huge sum of unexpected expenses. Because if the person, he or she, just mismanage your property, it will cost you more money than you would have expected. Anyway, the next one is, try to get record. I know property manager, they have record of, okay, they've fixed this, they'll write it down, they fix that. Okay, ask for a copy. Try to know what they are spending money on. I mean, it's your property. I mean, they are managing it for you. However, you still own the property. You have more rights than them because you own the house. If you have mortgage, yeah, the mortgage is on you. So the point here is that, try to make them accountable. A good one, you don't even have to stress yourself. It will just come to you.
Yep. Yep.
I'm sure you guys heard Ahmed is also managing property. You don't have to stress yourself like, hey, can I get in? No. They know that, okay, after this repair, after this um, remodeling, after this maintenance, they're supposed to be accountable, like call you and let you know, or text you or message you, okay, this has been done, we spend this, we spend that, this is the refund, or this or that. A good property manager is supposed to brief you, the owner, so that you can know what is going on in that property,
Yep.
you know. So by doing so, first of all, they are respecting you as the owner. Second, they are showing that, they are responsible, not just want to get a monthly rent and squander everything. Anyway, you guys understand what I'm saying there. So the next one is, make sure the property manager has good relationship with your tenant. When I mean good relationship, I mean, like, a good a property manager that has this interpersonal relationship, not someone who is just rude, aggressive, um, someone who is so entitled, and you don't want that, because the property manager will not essentially give you money. What gives you money is the good tenant.
Yep.
If you have a good tenant and you have a bad property manager, trust me, that good tenant will leave that property. And you'll find out that after a while, you'll be getting bad tenants, because the good ones will be, they will write bad comments about your property online, or you know tell their friends or family, or before you know it, you'll be getting bad tenant. So I will encourage you, get a good property manager. In most cases, like, I don't know that particular number, but average, when you have a good property manager, that person will get you a good tenant. It's almost guaranteed. Even if he or she tried the first one is bad, that spirit of goodness, that spirit of great commitment, experience, and everything will bring the next one will probably be a good tenant. Nobody is perfect. And
Yep.
that was why I said, almost guaranteed that a good property manager will get you a good tenant. So if you can get a good tenant, they have good relationship, there's a high chance the tenant will stay longer than you can ever imagine. They will stay there. Cash flow will be coming in. If there's any damage, because the manager is great, is doing his job, the tenant won't even feel like, okay, there's any urgency to um nag or anything, or to report anything. If I've seen situation where one of my tenant, he called me. Oh, what did he say? I think he said, one of the stove is not burning, and yeah, but buddy, yeah, I'm good. I'm using three right now. I said, okay, I can buy another one. Say, oh yeah, you're fine, bro. I'm using three. That's like, you know it's because of the kind of relationship I built with him. Now, when the burner one messed up again, remain two. That is, it's four originally, four. Two, one bad went bad. The second one went bad after a while. Then he called me again. Right now, two is working. No, actually, I called him. I called him after some. I said, "So how is the burner still doing?" He said, "Well, to be honest with you, one went bad." I said, "When?" He said, "About a month ago." I said, "Okay, now it's time to return." He said, "Come on, man. If I want to return it, I would have called you. I'm only using one. I'm fine." I said, "Oh, no, if we got to return it, I mean, we have to get another one because it should be four working." I know that, but buddy, I only use one. It's okay. So because it just like the relationship, it doesn't feel like I have to spend that money because he only used one, which is for real. It's he has young kid, like two kids, but he's a single father and he's doing his thing. He just don't want me to spend money unnecessary because he believes he's still working, it's still good, even though he knows. Actually, he knew, since he already moved out, he knew that I am supposed to replace that. But because of we have good relationship, he kept saying no, I shouldn't worry about it. But one day I went there and he said, "Yeah, this two is two work." I said, "Okay, now, buddy, I'm gonna go Best Buy. Let's go together." And he followed me because we go there together. I put in my, we went to my truck and we got a brand new one. Four of them was brand new, everything good, working nice. When this guy moved out, I gave him all the deposit back because he had showed me. I mean, he left the house fairly good and normal wear and tear. It's okay. So I gave him all the deposit back because it was just nice to me. So my point here is that when you have a good tenant, good property manager, you as a landlord, you will feel less pressure. You will feel less, eat from the arrangement.
Yeah.
You will have a lot of nights that you can sleep and close your eyes, not sleeping and you are thinking somebody will call you because the property manager is not picking call, or the property
Yep.
manager said he's coming tomorrow to fix something, but they haven't seen him since 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
So so we have to be careful here. Make sure you look for a good one. You don't have to go far. Of course, I met this property manager. Anyway, anyway, guys. So today we are excited to bring this to you. We want you to, I mean, just ask question. Let us know if there's any thing you have learned about management, or if you are a tenant and the way your property manager is treating you and all that. We really appreciate that. Drop it in the comment. We will treat it this or next episode. So Ahmed, you've talked about all the good side of property
Ah,
manager.
yep.
Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. You've talked about the good side of property manager. And so my question to you now is that, when you first get your property, you are conscious of, I don't want to spend 10%. I don't want to spend maybe 12%. Or how can I, make sure if I spend the 10%, I'm still getting money in my pocket? The concern is more of the money, mostly, to be honest with you. So what do you think people can do? Is it something they have to work that from the beginning before they buy the property? Or what do you think, as a new landlord, what do you think they can do?
Uh, personally, I think working the property management money into your underwriting is the best, because this is AD. I'm going to answer your question. Give me 1 second. So basically, even if you are managing your property, you still want to get paid for the amount of time you are putting in. You should treat every real estate investment you buy as a business.
Yeah.
You are not supposed to be creating something that will be stealing your time that you are supposed to be spending with your wife, your kids, taking care of your mental health, your physical health, taking care of yourself. You don't want to be taking that time from yourself and your family to give to all these investments. That is why we are saying you are not supposed to be, at the beginning there will be some things that you will have to, get your hands wet and do it yourself, just because, we are being, conservative on how much we are spending and all that. But if you work your numbers in, I mean, the property management or property manager number in your underwriting, if the deal work, it work. If it doesn't, let it go. Don't be stealing your time
Mhm.
for taking care of your property. So even if you are doing the job, make sure make sure you are getting paid for the job you are delivering. That, in my opinion, that is the best way to do it. So I just want to answer the question from our audience, D, real quick. So in my experience, I've used two so far: Zillow and Aave. Aave as in Avail. So Aave.com. Zillow is good, but it doesn't have all the new upgrade that all these new property manager software are having. So I believe you what you meant by CRM is like the software that, tenants use to report maintenance, that collects rents, that take care of listings and all that. I believe that is what you meant. So Aave is what I currently use. I've used Aave as a tenant and I've used Aave as a landlord. So I know how it works on both ends, and I think it's very sophisticated enough. I Another one that people talks about a lot is Rent Ready. I've never used it before, but each time I'm checking software out, I always see it come up number two or number three following Aave. So I don't, I'm not promoting Aave here, but I think it has everything that you need in software when it comes to property management. Let me know if you have any other ones in mind. Ibrahim, what do you think when it comes to property manager software?
Honestly, of course, I'm not specialized in property management, but I manage my properties. Um, However, I use my Smart Move by TransUnion. I think it's created by TransUnion, mysmartmove.com. So it helps you to screen, helps you to collect rent, it helps you to um, give like a report about the client and how, and it also alerts you when you might want to increase your rent, when you might want to charge extra fees. Let's say there's a late payment. It also, tells you about, the market reports, what is going on in your, your city and everything. Concerning ranking, I don't know where Turbo Tenants, where they no, I'm sorry. So I'm mixing it. So I'm using Turbo Tenant to screen. Um, I'm using no, my Smart Move to screen, but Turbo Tenant to manage my property. So I kind of
Okay.
mix it. Sorry, guys. So yeah, so my Smart Move is just to screen people, which is made and operated by TransUnion. But Turbo Tenant is what I use to do my, my payments. Also, they keep tenant information. They keep your documents. You have the opportunity to create any kind of legal document you want. One of our audience, it was talking about legal compliance. I think I may touch on it briefly. It is very, very important because, and it's one of the reasons why you have to use a property manager. Because if you don't have time for it, you don't know it, you don't want that to be um, the angle where a tenant will get you from. Like, you don't want that angle to be where you'll fall into that liability issue. um of course, there are a lot of things as a landlord that you have to put in as a disclaimer, because everybody is different. The way people behave, the way, for different safety reasons, your house would not be perfect. But some of these disclaimers, you knowing or being aware of the law, will help you to stay afloat. A property manager, they know all this. They know those things that you have to avoid in your property. Uh, you know, for example, I'll just give a little example. Let's say you have a very high concrete stairs. There's a limit. Your concrete can now, each concrete, the gap between one to another cannot be, I think, more than 2 foot or something. I'm not sure about that number, but they know the exact number that it has to be. So if it's way too high,
Inches.
it can cause fall hazard and you can be in trouble. A property manager will take care of that. No, just know that people, you can take advantage of resources, and the major one in this real estate world is to use a property management so that you don't run into trouble. Um, so I want to say that if anybody have any questions, concern, put it into the chat so we can talk about it. Ahmed,
Oh
so
yeah. So
go ahead.
go ahead, Ibrahim.
Yeah, I was about to say, um, for now, that's all I have to say. So if you have anything you want to top it up,
Yeah.
with,
So
go ahead.
thank you, Ibrahim. I mean, legal compliance is a big deal, and it's not something you can be amending when it happens. You have to have the record before
Mhm.
the incident so that you can prove that this is what I did, is what I've been doing, this is how I make sure I prevent this. This is, accidents happen. So judge will understand. But if the incident happens and that is when you are taking the step, they will be like, what have you been doing about it before now? So, and that
Yeah,
can be costly on your insurance, or even shut down your business, or even, lawsuit can take care, can sell your property to pay the tenants. That is how big that can be. Another thing you mentioned earlier that I have written down is being cheap.
yeah,
I
being
know we
cheap.
always promise and try to let people understand that don't be cheap.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, I I f- kind of messed up this this week by being cheap, right? So I want to run an electrical outlet to power the fridge, and if you know how electrician do the uh, running of the wiring and all that, the fridge needs to be on its own socket breaker.
Yeah,
So to cut the long story short, I went with the lowest bidder. So I got three bid. Every other one is around 700, 800, and I went with the one that is around 300 to 400. What happened is this guy doesn't know shit, doesn't know what he's doing. He almost got the house on fire. We have to like turn everything off. And so it comes down to, sometimes these things will happen. And it's good that we are coming out here to let you know that it's not, you know, that is my experience, it's not yours. You will run into something else that will teach you a very valuable lesson that you need to learn. A lot of other people learn this same lesson by losing 100,000 on a deal. So this is to cut your learning curve short and give
Yeah.
you some basic things that you need to run with. you know um don't be cheap when you have a bid to complete a project on a house. Make sure you go with the most competent and someone that have the track record of doing a good job in what you want.
Yeah.
Competency and track record. you know Make sure they know what they are doing, because a single mistake can not only put the landlord in danger but the tenant as well, and that can come back and backfire on you, not the guy, you that you are renting the house out. So we have another question, Ibrahim. D
Yeah.
ask, what is the average rent rate for a
Okay.
2-1 and 3-1 now in Indianapolis? Do you
Yeah.
want to take
So
that one?
yeah, let me look at that real quick. Well, that is a kind of a broad question. It's kind of
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna depend. Honestly, it's gonna really,
yeah,
really depend.
it's kind of a broad question. It would not. Of course, we all know real estate is local, so if we are looking at the whole Indianapolis, it would not give us. If we can say like maybe in
Certain zip code,
yeah, like zip code, like Avon, like in
neighborhood.
West, yeah, that would give us a um. But I can still look and, and or maybe I can answer our audience in the next video. We can just I can look at that and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So,
answer the next one.
honestly, I think this is kind of a broad question. 2-1, 2-2 in Indianapolis gonna be varies. Honestly, it's gonna be varies depending on the available the access to like major roads, one, school area, two. It's going to depend on the amenities in the neighborhood. Like, do you have park? Do you have dog walk? Do you have
Mhm,
trail? Do you have,
mhm.
you know, all these things contributes to rent in the neighborhood. So even if two apartments are next to each other and one is having all these amenities I just mentioned and
Amenities.
the other doesn't have, you can see how those amenities are going to definitely affect so I used to live in Scarborough Lake. We do have gym, we have this water view, we have this all this nice structure, clean environment, and an apartment just across the street doesn't have all these things. They are paying at the time, they are paying I think $500, and I'm paying 800 in Scarborough Lake. That is $300 difference for the same square footage,
Wow.
right? So that is how this can be very tricky to answer. Even it has, yeah. This week, even next week, I don't think we can come with a very precise
Yeah, I think
answer
it'll
for
just
this
be
one.
like I'll just say like average like from 820 to 1,000,
Yeah. Okay.
four
Okay.
hundred.
Okay.
But it's still
Yeah.
not.
Ranges.
Yeah, range is what I'll be able to provide. But that's a very great question though, because it spark some kind of nerves in your brain, and you are thinking like, okay,
Yeah.
what would be the right answer to this question? So we appreciate you, D, at least for making us think a little bit tonight. Like, okay, let's see what the answer will be for this. It's just that it's a very broad question. It's tough to get a precise answer. Um, but I'm seeing like from like 820 to like 1,004 something. So and of course when we say average, we are looking at the high and the low. They had it
Yeah.
together. They kind of approximate,
Divided.
like average it out. So it will not reflect the big area of like, 2 5.
Oh, I see what he's saying. So this is this next comment. He's trying to prove a point like this is why landlord need property manager for market research and analysis. Okay, okay. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. The i- landlord that doesn't have market knowledge can short themselves on how much revenue they can generate. I believe Ibrahim mentioned earlier, like you know these are guys that have a lot of market knowledge, so you really want to let them do their job and
Yeah.
just let them take the stress on,
Hmm.
and in return you make more money. People see the 10% that the 10 to 15% that property manager charges monthly as a huge deal. But one thing they are forgetting is property manager can get a good tenant for you for like two, 300, 400 more in that your house. The same
Yeah.
house you are getting the money you are getting right now in, and in return, if you look at it at the end of the day, you are getting few bucks more, and a lot of stress is off your plate. Your time is now yours. Just like Ibrahim mentioned, you still need to make sure the property manager are representing you well in front
Yeah.
of your tenants, because that will go a long way in resolving conflict with your tenants when issue arises. However, that they will give you a lot of, if you find a good one, they will give you a lot of your time back. They will give you a lot of, take a lot of all this stress off your plate, and make sure that your revenue is steady, and with little to no break in between them. So yeah, that will be my opinion on that. Ibrahim, you have anything to add before we go?
No, not really. So with on my side, I talked about accountability. I talked about making sure you do your due diligence, make sure you make your research, know the right property manager you want to work with. I talked about make sure that property manager, in line of you doing your due diligence, make sure that person is doing the kind of model you want to participate in. um,
Absolutely.
I mentioned short term, long term, mid term, or just traditional listen. Make sure they are doing what you like, I mean what you want to do. Ask questions, negotiate, but don't be cheap. I made have he added to that because he experienced that of recent. uh, so, I mean, the good thing here is that we are not saying we are above mistake. I may just mention this, what he experienced,
Yeah,
and um, but we are here to kind of share ideas so we all can learn and grow together. We have
absolutely.
been doing this, however, we are not above making mistake. We are not perfect. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys understand that. So, um, back to my list. So, make sure you get the record of what they are doing in your property. Make sure your property manager has good relationship with your tenant, because a bad property manager will cost you more than you can ever imagine. Okay. That said, those are the points that I've touched, and um, for now I don't have anything else to say. There's no questions on the chat. Ahmed, if they want to reach out
Yeah,
to you, if they want to reach out to you, what can they do?
absolutely. So if you want to reach out to me, you have a deal, you have anything you want to dispo in the area, you have any real estate related questions, you can reach out to me at official Ahmed Lawal on Instagram, and Ahmed Lawal on Facebook, and I will be, I am very responsive. And another easy way to reach out to me is at our Facebook group. Do the Talk Facebook group. If you join the Facebook group, you will have direct access to us. You can ask us questions in there, and we can directly answer your questions. So that's a good another good place. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, share our video. We are doing this free of charge every Friday. We've been doing it for 5 months straight now. So please follow, like, subscribe. Ibrahim, if people want to reach out to you, how can they reach you?
Yeah, very easy. Go to IB Realtors on Instagram or tweet, or TikTok. Go to ibrotors.us on Facebook. You can call me 317-728-0213. I may mention we'll be doing this for straight 5 months. We are going nowhere. Every Friday we'll be here. I want to thank our number one audience, D, the only D, number one DD. Thank you so much. And he's a great investor as well. He came to the show. I can't remember the episode, but he came and he enlightened, like he shed light on questions on how you can invest in real estate, particularly wholesaling and um, how you can turn property around. So guys, um I mean, are we calling it a night? Because that's all I have to say tonight.
Oh
So
yes. So thank you guys for joining us. It's been a great one again. We will be back here 8 p.m. next Friday. Make sure you are here, and we will see you then. Bye.
thank you. Bye bye.